So in my last Dead Rails video, we went ahead and we actually talked about the latest and kind of greatest update that I think Dead Rails has ever gotten, featuring 4 new classes, a huge military base, some lore for the game, and just some general quality of life changes. However, the one thing I did not get to do in that video is try out all of the classes, as unfortunately I only had enough bonds to get the Doctor class. However, today we have been loaded up with 150 bonds, thanks to this really cool thing called /test, and we are going to go ahead and try out all of the different classes that are in Dead Rails. As we get into today's video, definitely don't forget that you should absolutely subscribe with notifications on, because I've got plenty of amazing Dead Rails content coming up in the very near future. And at the end of the video, I'm going to give my own ideas for classes that I think should be in the game and that we could possibly see in the near future. So without further ado, let's get into our first class here. So the first one that we're going to start with is going to be Doctor, and this one allows you to spawn with some healing items and heal your teammates without bandages at the cost of half of your HP. Boom! Just for the sake of getting the run going a little bit faster too, I'm going to go ahead and use some of these extra bonds to get some weapons and stuff. So game pass and starting gear aside, you can see that we start with a shovel, 2 bandages, and 2 snake oils. Yeah, also I got a lot of starting gear here. Now, as we pull into our first town here, I'm going to go ahead and tell you that this class is not really that useful on a solo run. The main drawing point to me about the Doctor class is going to be the fact that you spawn with some extra bandages, so it saves you a little bit of extra money in the short term, and maybe it makes it a little bit easier to like loot your first initial buildings. So you're not so much worrying about your HP getting low because you already start out with 4 different medical supplies, which I think is great. However, I think that the main thing about this class is going to be the fact that this is going to be something a lot more useful on a multiplayer lobby, because you're definitely going to be the guy who's got to keep his teammates alive. Now, while I'm not necessarily bad at that, I would say maybe not the best. All right, I get that. I get it. Whoa, what are you? Gold statue. If that is worth any less than like $20, I'm going to be so mad. But I personally really like the Doctor class, and it's my go-to whenever it comes to this game, just because of the ease of spawning with meds. Mostly also because I play solo. I don't think it is the most useful solo class. However, just for 15 bonds, I think it's well worth getting. However, there's not a crazy amount else that I can say about it other than what I've already said, because it's basically spawn with 2 bandages, and you get to heal teammates without bandages, pretty much. Our next class here is going to be the Ironclad, and this is going to be the one that I think is going to draw the absolute most attention, costing 100 bonds, and not just costing 100 bonds, it also costs you 20% of your overall moving speed. However, you do get a full entire set of armor, as well as the normal starting shovel. You know, and I've got to be real, I think I'm looking pretty fresh, man. Now this one, as you can see, we just spawn with the normal default stuff, and I am already feeling that 20% decrease in movement speed. It doesn't sound like a lot, but in practice, like, I don't know if it's easy enough for you to see, but the movement is horrendously slow. Like, just to go and grab my weapon, oh my God. Now this is a class that I could kind of see the benefits to. I mean, the fact that you actually don't have to buy any armor, that saves you, realistically, if you are someone to buy armor, hundreds of dollars over the course of an entire match. However, I will say, unlike the Doctor class, this is definitely one that's going to be a lot more beneficial during a solo run. Though I do have a little bit to learn here myself, because I don't use armor enough to know if it actually benefits you against zombies and other enemies, or if it's just against things like bandits that have guns, right? I don't know. I guess the only way to find out is to actually try and fight something, huh? All right, I'm gonna just get him low just so I can insta-kill him if he needs to. It definitely looks like he's doing less damage to me. That definitely looks like he's doing a lot less damage to me. Okay, all right. So yes, I'm going to go out on a limb and say it lowers your overall damage that you take. Please, though, somebody in the comments correct me if I'm wrong. So this is effectively going to be the opposite of the Doctor class. The only person who this benefits is you personally, because you take less damage at the cost of your movement speed, and you're not going to need bandages as much because of the fact that you have so much HP. However, of course, the downside, as I said, is that movement speed. Oh my God. Like, I understand that you can't really outrun zombies normally regardless, but like, I'm like maybe 100 feet away from my train, and this is going to take me like a full minute to get to this. Come here, bandit. I want to see how much damage your gun does to me. Let's see. Point blank shotgun. Ooh. Yeah, I can, with full HP, I could probably tank at least 3 shells for point blank shotgun. So that is extremely useful, I will say. And again, I think would be extremely beneficial on solo runs, especially. Yeah, I'm still going to need bandages anyway, because the healing is extremely slow in this game, but I can definitely feel that I am taking less damage. There's no way that this is just placebo. I'm not going to survive this night anyway, but, you know, hey, it's good to know that I'm generally taking less damage. What is that? Overall, I'd say that Ironclad is a pretty solid class. Definitely something, again, that you can use solo. However, costing 100 bonds, it's quite expensive. However, our next class, the Alamo, might be a little bit more to more people's liking. Now this is similar to the Ironclad, except instead of just armoring up you, which it looks like you at least get a helmet, you get a bunch of stuff to armor up your train, including 3 metal sheets and 3 barbed wire, and that will go a long freaking way. One other thing I will say that I don't really know is how the armor scales in this game. Is it based on where you get hit? Like, is the helmet just protecting your head? Or does it give you an overall armor value for your character? I don't know. Please let me know in the comments below. I kind of forgot to buy stuff early, but it spawned me in a box apparently with all of the stuff that I need here. Okay, now I know that this looks horrendously ugly, but I think that we have a solid freaking setup here. I'm not gonna lie. So to give a quick rundown, because you sit on the right side of the train, you're gonna want some barbed wire so that stuff that jumps up can't hit you without taking damage. And also because we have the newspapers up here, it makes it more difficult for them to hit you, period. I also just kind of put the metal sheets down in a little bit of like a funnel type pattern, so that way it's more difficult for things to squeeze through here unintentionally. We have some barbed wire in the way to stop stuff from getting through. And lastly, you give yourself a little wedge to get through, making it even more difficult for things to get to you. Now, the great thing about this is the fact that we already have pretty much all of the armor that we're going to need for a majority of the game. And if you really want to, those extra little sheets out there that create that little funnel type pattern that I have going, if you want, you could just slap them on either the front or the sides of your train as well to give you that little bit of extra protection against things like bandits that'll shoot at you. And just to show you how serious I am about this protection, we're going to go right out smack dab in the middle of nowhere. We're going to hop out of the driver's seat and we're going to wait. Oh, God, that scared me. All right, we're going inside. We're going inside. I hear him taking damage from the barbed wire out there. You know what I could have done instead of putting 2 barbed wire there is put one on that side as well, so we have one on each side. But for the moment, yeah, he can't get in. He's blocked off by all the extra little stuff. I do have another newspaper right there as well. And we are otherwise completely safe inside of my little box that I built here with the stuff that we got, spawning with the Alamo class. Dudes, and I could just keep going if I'd like. Yeah, screw that werewolf, bro. I'm out of here. I think this is a fantastic class. It's great for both solo and for multiplayer. And for costing, I think it was only 50 bonds. I don't think that it's a really bad deal. I think it's well worth it and probably the most well-rounded out of all of the classes in the game. Now, lastly is a class that I otherwise see as pretty useless. The final class that is officially in the game right now is Arsonist. It looks like my hat's kind of burned compared to like the base hat. Must have caught it on fire at some point. Funny little touch there. Regardless, the Pyromaniac deals double fire damage and you spawn with Molotovs. So to me, Molotovs are pretty useless. I've only ever thrown one a single time, and I honestly didn't find it extremely useful. However, we are going to go through and buy a whole bunch of Molotovs, and we're going to try to take a town with them if we can. Now, yeah, we're starting with a lot of Molotovs here. So we do spawn with 4 already in our inventory, but I just, went ahead naturally, and I had to buy as many as possible. Come here, zombies. Yoink. Oh, that shreds them quick, especially with the double fire damage. Okay. Can I throw them, like, through windows? Probably not. It looks like, is it doing damage through the wall, though? It is. Okay. That's kind of useful. You could really easily clear out some buildings with this. Not going to worry about you because you're just there. Okay. I don't know that we're going to quite be able to take over a town with this, but we're going to try. Also, kind of the annoying part, we're going to have to keep dragging Molotovs to our hotbar as we use them. I just completely missed that zombie. Okay. All right. All right, you're done. Oh, there's more. Run through the fire. I don't know how long the fire lasts either. It looks like it's lasting long enough. I'm already in dire need of bandages, though. The sucky thing about this class, I will say, is the fact that you basically have to main Molotovs. Like, sure, you can get guns and stuff, and you can just use Molotovs on the side, but this really is a class meant for maining Molotovs. So it pretty much only has a single use for a single item. Oh, God, that's actually scared me. Yeah, this is not... I don't think this is going to be my new main anytime soon. Not to mention, of course, if you do manage to get a million Molotovs, you got to keep dragging them to your hotbar. Luckily, it does not do self-damage that I can see, so I guess that's good, but... Otherwise, yeah, I don't know if I can really say that I like this class all too much. Yeah. Otherwise, those are going to be the core 4 classes in game. But I feel like there was a lot of missed opportunity here. And then comes into play a handful of classes that I personally think would be great additions to the game. First class, the Demolitionist. Maybe instead of a cowboy hat, you get like a mining helmet type thing. I think that would be pretty sick. But the Demolition class would spawn with maybe a torch and 2 or 3 sticks of dynamite. And I think this class would be actually overall pretty good for doing things like clearing out banks, or otherwise just doing a ton of damage. My next idea would be the Gunslinger. The Gunslinger would be a class where maybe you'd spawn with a revolver and like 2 boxes of ammo. Maybe it'd cost the same as the Ironclad or something. That way it will take a while for you to actually be able to build up to buy the class. However, you will still have the option without needing to buy the game pass to be able to spawn with a weapon. Maybe it could also come with a perk like double reload speed for all weapons, which I think would be a really, really cool addition to the game. And lastly, I can't really think of a better name off the top of my head at the moment, but maybe something like the Athlete. This would be a character that would maybe have 20% increased movement speed, but maybe 20% decreased health. Effectively like you're playing the Scout from TF2. Less HP, faster movement. This would allow you to outrun some of the enemies in the game, but still leave you vulnerable with having that lesser HP. There are definitely more class ideas that are out there, and I'd love to know your guys' ideas in the comments section below. As well, like I said earlier in the video, definitely get subscribed if you have not done so already. Because we have plenty more Dead Rails content coming out in the very near future that you're not going to want to miss. With that said, have a fantastic rest of your day. Huge shout out to all the channel members up on screen. You guys are incredible. Discord server link is also in the description below too if you want to join. And with all that said, have a great rest of your day. I'll see you guys later. Peace.